All right, we are live Sunday night. I was going to say 6 p.m. It's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm in the Mountain Time Zone. And if you don't know me, my name is Jay Johnson, and a little bit about me. I was a decent high school runner, but ran fast enough to walk on at the University of Colorado as both a cross country and track athlete, and was on some really good teams. I got a master's degree in kinesiology and applied physiology when I was running at CU. I was one of the people in that book running with the Buffaloes. Was able to hang out with some of those guys last weekend, which was great. And then coached at a junior college for a couple of years, coached at the collegiate level at the University of Colorado for a couple of years, 6 years, coached some professional runners for a while. And all during that time, I had a high school, a camp for high school athletes, the Boulder running camps. And we did that for 18 years. And then once we hit COVID, it just didn't make sense to do that anymore. So since about 2021, I've been helping high school coaches. I basically coach coaches. And what we're going to talk about tonight is the training that you can do. And a lot of it's going to be for free tonight. I'm going to keep putting the link in here. We're going to talk about something, the Track Training Essentials, which is a free PDF that you can download tonight. I just put the link in the chat. So we're going to talk about what you can do the first 5 weeks of training. I mean, you know, we're recording this, not recording. We're here live on December 8th. Tomorrow, December 9th. This is the training you can do tomorrow with kids. Fast forward into January. Maybe that's when you're meeting your team. We've got 5 weeks of training for every type of kid. Okay. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. We'll also talk about the track training system, which is what I have for coaches who really want to take their program to the next level, just like this slide says here. Let me hop in here. It's so great to see all these people that are here. I want to say hi to Jody. Jody, it's good to see you. Oh, Jody, your picture's up there too. That's awesome. Jody and I, we're going to have some email correspondence coming up soon. She's a fantastic coach. And yeah, it's great to see everybody. And we have people joining both on YouTube and Facebook. So feel free to share this with other people as well. So, all right, we're going to hop right into it. Here we go. Track Training Essentials. What is in that? It is 5 weeks of training. We've got the warm-up. We've got our aerobic workouts. We've got our stride progression, and we've got our post-run work. I might be reviewing things a couple times tonight. New edition of Consistency is Key. I'm very excited about this. I love the cover. There's 3 new chapters. We've got, what do we have? We have mental skills, we have health science, and then we have recruiting. We also have two new team profiles, including Niwat, whose boys won yesterday. And not only that, their #1 runner is the son of one of my college teammates, and just fantastic. And I'm good friends with mom too. And then Mountain Vista won the girls race. And both those programs are featured in here. But the reason I bring this up, you know, we talk about the car analogy, right? We got to build the aerobic system. We got to build the aerobic engine. We've got to strengthen the chassis. So this is where we use that car analogy. Even if we have a big engine, if we don't have a strong chassis, kids are going to get injured. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about tonight. And then we've got to rev the engine with strides. So all of that is in the Track Training Essentials, right? We've got the stride progression. We've got all the post-run work. And in that link that I'm going to continue to keep putting in the chat. And if at some point I reference it and you don't see it, just you can scroll up into this chat and find it. And then you'll have videos for all the post-run work. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hop in, and I pre-recorded some videos. I think in this first one, I'm actually wearing this sweater because I did it today. But it's easier for me to answer some questions in the chat. So if you have any questions in the chat while this video is playing, I can answer those. Probably for, you know, I would think for the most part, you're just going to want to focus on what's on the video here. And then we're just going to dive into what's in the Track Training Essentials. I'm going to put the link in right now, just to be absolutely clear. This is something that you have access to right now. 40-page PDF that you have access to. All right, Track Training Essentials, 40-page PDF that you can get for free tonight. put in your name, put in your email address, click here to get the PDF. Make sure that you scroll down and you click on this teal box here, because you need to get the free videos and PDFs as well for all the stuff that's in the dynamic warm-up and the not in the dynamic warm-up. You want to get the dynamic warm-up and the post-run work. So when you click there, you'll put in your email address and you'll get that. I'll show you the track training essentials in a moment. When you click here, this is what you get. You're going to, first of all, you can get all these videos on your phone. So you can watch on your computer, but everything I'm about to show you, you'll have on an app on your phone that you can have at the track. You can also have your athletes opt in, is the term we use when you share your email address, and they'll get all this information as well. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this in a second. But first I want to talk about what's in the track training essentials, and we'll scroll back up here. Okay. Track training essentials. We're going to go through this really quick because tonight I can answer your questions. And tonight we can talk about, I'm going to share other videos where we're going to go day by day through some of this training. We're going to go over this day by day. Just stay with me tonight and we'll go over that. And then we'll go through this training plan where we'll go day by day through this. Okay. But what I need you to do now is just say, hey, I'm considering taking 20 minutes someday and reading this PDF. I don't even know if it takes 20 minutes. Of the 40 pages, a lot of them are just references, resources you'll use. I do want to be clear. The track training essentials is everything you need for every level of athlete. 800-meter runners, kids who didn't do much this winter, kids who did nothing this winter, and as well as kids who ran a lot in cross country, took 2 weeks off, and then are training. Tomorrow is December 9th. They're ready to go on December 9th. We've got kids all over the place. You've got the training, the first 5 weeks of training for all those kids. But let's be honest that we've got about 24 weeks for your best kids until the end of the season. So just be honest that it's the track training system, which we'll talk about later tonight, that has everything you need for the whole season. But this is a powerful document. That's why we're taking time to look at it. Okay, 4 elements. We're going to do a dynamic warm-up. We're going to do some sort of running. Could be an easy run. Could be a challenging aerobic workout. Could be a race pace workout, right? Let's say we're doing an easy run or a long run. We're going to do strides because, like we talk about, and consistency is key. The car analogy is we've got to build the aerobic engine. So we're doing that with easy runs, long runs, things like that. But then we've got to strengthen the chassis and rev the engine. Rev the engine is strides, right? And if you're not doing strides tomorrow, well, I'm assuming you're meeting some kids tomorrow. Whenever you're meeting kids the very first day of outdoor track practice or of winter practice, you need to be doing strides on day one. It's one of the biggest mistakes I see coaches make, and it's just baked in here. If you just follow the training I'm sharing with you, you're going to be doing strides. But we've got to do the post-run work as well. So our 4 elements are dynamic warm-up, some sort of running, strides, post-run work. Those are our 4 elements. Now, extending the aerobic stimulus. What do we mean by that? Between the warm-up and the workout, we don't want any breaks. So we do the warm-up, we go straight into the running, then we go straight into the post-run work. If you really want to learn these principles, as this is coming up, right now in this video, as you're watching this video, I'm going to put this link in the chat. This is a YouTube video, Extend the Aerobic Stimulus. If you're on my newsletter, I sent an email about this recently. But it just goes into the fact that if Jeff's warm-up is 13 minutes, and let's say we're doing a 60-minute run, that's 73 minutes, and let's say the post-run work is 20 minutes, right? Now we're at 93 minutes. Now, there's parts of Jeff's warm-up where the heart rate might not be max, it's not going to be as elevated during some of it because we're on the ground doing some hip mobility, but heart rate does get elevated. Then in 60-minute run, our heart rate is elevated and they're getting an aerobic stimulus. And then the first 10 minutes of the post-run work, the heart rate is elevated. And if they don't take a break between the run and the post-run work, we're going to extend that aerobic stimulus by keeping the heart rate high. So we get the same aerobic stimulus as a 70-minute run, even though they were only pounding the ground, pounding the pavement for 60 minutes. I'm not going to go into any more detail because that's in there. Talk about hard days, easy days, talk about progressing. Not only are we progressing, the volume of running, most people do that. They say, here's the volume we have for this week and this week and this week, or each workout, but we're progressing strides. We're progressing the post-run work as well. Phases of training. We're just going to talk about phase 1 tonight. So that's from tonight until the official start of outdoor practice. And I'm going to keep using the week of February, or excuse me, the third week of February tonight, because that's when it is in Colorado. So that's phase 1, today till third week in February. Phase 2 is third week of February until the first important meet. Not the first meet, the first important meet. So we're looking at probably late March, maybe first week of April. And then phase 3 is that first important meet to the end of the season, and could be into March going into mid to late May for your kids. They kind of break up into 8 weeks, 8 weeks, 8 weeks. For a lot of your kids, if you have kids starting tomorrow, phase 1 is going to be longer. Phase 2 is a little shorter. And then I really like phase 3 to be at least 6 weeks, if not more like 8. No prior training plan. I'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, so I'll just quickly go over this. Just so you know, like in the track training system, there's all these documents that are color coded. It's really organized well. This column here, this is phase 1. And then obviously there'd be other documents that have green, which is phase 2 with a couple indoor track meets, and then phase 3 with outdoor track. Teal here, these are our challenging aerobic workouts. So we're going to start with a fartlek. We're going to do a long run the first week. Then when we get to this week, we're going to do this kind of medium day with the track workout. And then later in the track training system, and I can't share this for free tonight, but all of our race pace workouts, right? So we have 1,600 meter workouts for 1,600 runners, 3,200 meter workouts for 3,200 runners, things like that. So that's that stuff. And then I explained this in here. It is worth checking out this link, which these are the cross-country workouts. And that's just me explaining, hey, we have 5 workouts: long runs, fartlek runs, progression runs, aerobic repeats. And those are things that are 3 to 4 to 5 minutes where they're running aerobically. You could think something like a repeat 1,000 or a repeat 1,200. That's a workout that is unique to what I do as a coach, but it's not, groundbreaking stuff. It's just a nice workout to do as our 4th workout. Then we have a 30-90 fartlek, which is a different workout. This, even though it's written for cross country, we do these same workouts in the summer in cross country. And this is a great article that you should check out. Okay, so that's the link to that. I'm going to skip over that. Then this plan, in a moment, we're going to go over day by day. And then I'm going to kind of skip through here. Just know that when you print this out, if you scan this QR code, that'll still take you to everything in here and all these warm up and post run videos. Okay, so in this document, again, you're going to print this out and read it. So this is a plan now where an athlete's doing less volume. It's still kind of similarly laid out, but we're doing circuits the first couple weeks for this athlete. I'll show you what circuits are in a second. So yeah, this is just all explanation about the training. And these are more training plans, and you can study those. Here's, this is a really important document. And I thought about, should I teach this tonight or should I let you learn this on your own? I'm going to let you learn this on your own. This is no prior training phase 2 start. So think about it. These are kids who have done nothing over the winter. And even if they ran cross country, but they were on the JV and that ended in the middle of October, these are kids who haven't done anything since then. And now they're starting track. Well, we have to be really cautious with their volume. And yet they're still going to need to race in week 4, right? Because we only have 3 weeks with them before we want to put them in that smaller meet, right? So this is really well laid out. The volume's going to be low, but it's going to keep them injury free. It's going to keep them running well. And then this is a little different group. This is kids who, let's say, start, it could be kids that start with you tomorrow, but probably, January 1st, January 8th. These are kids who they ran cross country, didn't do anything the rest of this season, but they want to meet for winter training. Their friends are there, but you really got to be careful. So we're going to use these circuits again. We're going to keep volume low. And yeah, that works really well, that plan. Okay, here's 800 meter. These are your kids who are coming out maybe in the winter. Maybe they got cut from the basketball team. Maybe they ran cross country, but they can. These are kids who should be either on your varsity 4x4 or close to it. So they're not doing long runs on Saturday. They're doing circuits on Tuesday. They're going to do a fartlek as instead of their long run. They're going to do a circuit here on Tuesday. They're going to do a progression run. So we've got those workouts in here. They do a long run in week 5, different workouts in here, and then speed development. Not going to go into that tonight. I do plan on doing some videos later this winter, another class like this where we teach speed development, but all that speed development stuff is in here. Okay, progression of strides. All your kids are going to do this progression of strides, and they're going to follow A, B, C through here. They're going to start doing strides at 5K rhythm. And again, first day of practice, and then they'll get down to doing 1600 meter and 800 meter rhythm. All right, here's all of our post-run work. And that PDF, so when you have the track training system, or excuse me, the track training essentials, which is the free document, you've got all these PDFs in here, and you've got circuits, and then speed development. I explain what that is in here. This is the spacing for wickets, also known as mini hurdles, really powerful document. And then you can, these are all articles that anytime you go to coachjjohnson.com, you can find all these, but here's QR codes to 5 articles you should probably read. Okay, so what are we doing at the end of practice? We're doing our post-run routines. And again, we're going straight into this. It's organized red, orange, yellow, green. You get red and orange free tonight in the track training essentials. So I'm just going to show you mentally. You need to find the page. And again, the link is in the chat, and you need to get this document. So track training essentials. And then what you'll have is the red and the orange. Okay, yellow and green. That only comes in the cross-country training system and the track training system. Red, if you had kids who are doing 10 minutes of core strength, or you're doing some weight room work, we're only going to keep them on the red routine for week 1. And then we're going to move into orange. Orange is challenging. So let's look at another scenario where you have a kid in the no prior training plan. They're going to stay on red for 2 or 3 weeks. They might stay on orange for the rest of the season because orange is challenging. So I'm not going to go through all these videos, but it's just broken up. If you're familiar with my SAM videos, strength and mobility, a lot of these routines have elements from SAM in it, but they're just organized a little bit different. And then sometimes it takes things from like the lunge matrix and core X. Sometimes our general strength is from those routines. Okay, so there you go. And I do want to say that you can always find Jeff's dynamic warm-up on YouTube for free. And then you can find these circuit videos. Why don't we look at one little circuit video here? Let's not take the time to do that. Bottom line is in the track training system, in the track training essentials, you have the QR code and circuits. If you're not familiar with those, that's totally fine. These circuits will take you to those videos. Here's the exercises. They're running for 200 meters, then they're doing some exercises. Running, doing some exercises. And what we're doing there is we're building the aerobic we're building the aerobic engine, but the amount of running they're doing, they might only run a mile. They might only run a mile and a half, but be out at the track for 20, 25 minutes. And we're strengthening the chassis. So circuits are really powerful. You don't want to overdo them. You don't want to do a circuit once a week for 10 weeks in a row, but that's great. And a little bonus there, try and get one of those portable Bluetooth speakers out on the field and use that with the kids too. Okay, we're back. If you can let me know if you can hear me, I assume you can. And if somebody can just hop in and say, yes, we can hear you, that'd be awesome. We're gonna go back to the slides now. And yeah, that's what's in the track training essentials. I put the link over and over in there, and you guys should be able. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Nicholas. It's just it's a fantastic document. And going into this class, I thought, how much so I'll be honest, I recorded a 50-minute video yesterday. I thought it was really good. It was all about the track training essentials. And I thought, you know what? Why are we taking the time on a Sunday night to teach something that if you really want to dive into it, you can do this on your own? So to be clear, you've got the warm up, the aerobic workouts, the stride progression, the post run work. All of that is in there. Okay. So you can get that now. Now let's be honest about what's in the track training system. The track training system, I'm going to show you. So why don't we go back? What I decided we should do tonight, what we should do with our time is I want to just show you what's in the track training system. If we go back to, let's see, do I really want to show this? All right. So I was making a living in running prior to COVID and doing various things in running. One of them is putting on the Boulder Running Clinics, which is coming up in 2 weeks. By the way, we have a lot of coaches coming who are at NXN that are coming to attend. And then Jeff Mezer just hopped on here. He coached JoJo Jordan, who won last year, and he's going to share, hey, what was the training for an NXN champion? And then JoJo broke 4 minutes. So we'll hear about sub 4 minute training. But bottom line is, prior to COVID, I was doing the Boulder Running Camps, which went on for 18 years. Awesome camp. Boulder Running Clinics. And then I was also coaching some adult runners. Well, COVID happens, can't do those things. And I'm at this place personally and professionally where it's like, how much training should I share? And can I come up with a system that you can have lifetime access to and get all the training? And a lot of time coaches don't want to share the secret sauce, right? And I just realized, honestly, during COVID, I thought this is important. I need to do this. If people want to share it for free, send the PDFs to one another. You know, if one coach says, I'm going to share it, you know, on some listserv or dark web or something I don't even know about, I can't control that. What I want to be honest about is you have 5 weeks of training in the track training essentials. In the track training system, you've got all the workouts, and we're going to talk about those tonight. 800, 1600, 3200. I'm going to give you examples of those. We do a pre-race workout. Okay. So we do something the day before the race that's specific. I guess I need to do it like that. That's specific to each one of those races. So the day before an 800 meter runner runs an 800, that athlete does something different than your 3200 meter runner. Think about that for a second. The rhythm of a girl running 218 is a lot different than a girl running 11 minutes. I don't know if those are exactly comparable performances, but I would say they're fairly close, right? Our girl who's going to run 520, she's going to run 80s per 400, right? But our girl who's going to run 218s, she's going out in about 68. Well, her first lap at 68, she better the day before her pre-race day, she better be doing some 200s at about 34, right? Where our 1600 meter runner, you know, they can run some a little bit of running at 80 rhythm and then get faster. So anyway, pre-race days, sometimes we do a 72-hour workout because you might have a week where, you know, you have a meet on Friday and you want to do something Tuesday. Post-run work is in there. And then we have all of the post-run. You had red and orange for free in the track training essentials. Here in the track training system, we also have yellow and green. And then we do 5 live classes a year. You get priority email access, all that good stuff. Okay, now what I have to do for a second is pause with me. Oh, somebody said, will this be recorded? Yes, this will be recorded. I don't quite have Facebook figured out. People are asking questions on Facebook, and I'm not able to respond there. If you're on Facebook, find this on YouTube. It's in the Facebook chat. For everybody else on YouTube, when this ends, and I don't know how YouTube does it so quickly, it's almost instantaneously. You just go to the same link and it'll be there. So that's really a good question. And then, oh, well, Jimmy says Jay's track training will have you covered for the 800. There may be a track coach here that can help. Okay. Oh, I'm probably missing some questions. All right. So here's what we're doing with questions. We're just going to teach. We're going to have a lot of content, and then we will open it up for questions later on. And I'm going to talk about what's in consistency is key. How awesome that yesterday at NXN, the 2 programs that won, not only are they close friends, but they're programs that are featured in here. So we're going to talk about this. And if you've never seen this book, that's because it's only been on the internet for about 72 hours or so. So anyway, this is going to be a good night. Give me a moment to tee up the next video, because now we're going to see what's in the track training system. And I'm actually going to walk you through day by day some of the training that's also in the track training essentials. So give me one moment here. This is like where you would say, talk amongst yourselves if we were all in the same room, but we're not. Okay. Stop screen. Oh, and there's a few things that I can't make any cleaner than this, like this little transition that we're doing here. So thanks for your patience. And here we go. All right, here we go. Track training system. And we are going to go through what we call the calendars. So the calendar is the bigger overview. Now it has every day's training, but because it's in a calendar view, it doesn't have as much detail. There are daily plans, and this is where you have daily plans for individual athletes, okay? And that tells you what volume those athletes should run. But we're going to walk through this calendar. I'm not going to speed through it, but I'm also not going to, take too much time, because this is something that you need to take some time and study and kind of see the rhythm of, hey, we're doing races on this day, on a Friday, and then going back to Tuesday, we're going to do a hard workout. We maybe do a long run the Saturday prior. Okay. But let's go in here and we'll start, change this up, and then we'll start here at the beginning. So top here is phases. So we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Okay. Phase 1 is winter training. Phase 2 is when we have our first indoor meet, and phase 3 is the beginning of outdoor track. Now, in this column here, you can see we have all these colors. We have the yellow, and then we get into phase 2. We've got the green showing you there, and then we've got that reddish color saying we're an outdoor track. Okay, workouts. Challenging aerobic workouts are this teal color. And then we've got easy days with hard post-run work. And you should understand what hard post-run work is now. The fun fast, it's kind of an easy medium day. We don't have a ton of these days, but that's part of the track training system. And then these are really important, the race pace workouts, or days when we're doing goal pace, okay? So race pace, goal pace workouts there. And then the meets, we just do 3 types of meets. Indoor meets, outdoor meets that are less important, and then the outdoor meets where we're hoping to PR. Okay. So, and this is out, I'll have a different video where I go day by day through phase 1. But, phase 1 here, what we can see is that I've listed, the week in the phase, and then how many weeks out to state. Okay, so let's look at this first week. We've got 24 weeks to state, and I'll explain when I go through the daily documents. You might have fewer weeks than that. But Monday, we're going to learn the warm-up. Then we're going to do a challenging aerobic workout. This day, that's a fartlek. Then we're still learning the warm-up this week. And then we have our easy day with strides, but we're doing the hard post-run work. So that's something that we do in the winter. This idea is it's still an easy day in terms of volume, but we're going to do hard post-run work, and that's going to make it essentially a medium day, okay? Another easy day, we're doing long runs on Saturdays. If you're a team that wants to get your long run done during the week and not meet kids on Saturday, I totally understand. I think what we find with daylight savings time is it's hard to get all that work done after the school day, and probably the quality of the long run is going to be a lot lower on Friday. So that's why I assume a Saturday long run. And then, yeah, we just go week by week, and we're just putting in the work in the winter. So these days are pretty similar. We're doing long runs every Saturday. Tuesday we do a fartlek. Then you'll understand this with my my progression of challenging workouts. We do fartleks, then we do progression runs, and then we're going to come back with a fartlek again in week 3. Then we're going to do a progression in week 4. After 4 weeks here, they should have a good sense of learning to run by feel. But in these first 2 weeks, man, this fartlek workout might go poorly. The progression run might go poorly. They're learning the warm up. They don't know what the post run work is. Plan on these 2 weeks to have longer practices and kids not knowing exactly what's going on. I find that in the 3rd week, kids understand what the warm up is pretty well and are starting to understand what they're supposed to do for post run work. But if this fartlek doesn't go well, that's fine, because they're still learning to run by feel. And the same with this progression run here. This progression run, they might misjudge it a little bit and not be able to speed up in that last 5 minutes. However, if you look at this, there's 6 teal days, between a workout and a long run every week. before they get to this progression run. So they have had 6 opportunities to learn to run by feel, because the long run teaches kids to learn to run by feel as well. Obviously they need to run a little easier in the beginning of the long run, but then when we do that last 20 minutes with the strides, they are running faster. Winter break is here. Man, I really think serious kids will get things done over winter break, but if they don't, that's fine. I do think by week 4, they really should understand how to do the warm-up, how to do post-run work. If your team doesn't have those concepts and is really struggling to do that, or if they're struggling to buy in, this is probably, and I hope this is an appropriate term, that's where you need to have that kind of come to Jesus meeting about, hey, this is what we're doing. We are doing this warm-up every day. We are doing this post-run work. But if kids really are on board with doing something different to run PRs, they'll be ready. They'll be ready to do that in week 4. Okay, so let's assume now in week 5 we're really rolling along. Oh, and in week 5 too, we'll talk about this in the daily schedule. But in week 5, I believe in all the plans, they're back up to the long run volume that they did back in cross country. So now in week 5, I would say the volume's pretty high, and they get to do a really fun workout, aerobic repeats. I put over here, it's fun. And we're running faster for the aerobic portion, but then we're jogging, okay? Whereas it's a little bit different than a fartlek, where we're trying to run a steady pace in between. Then we come back with a progression run, then a fartlek run, and then we'll do our last aerobic repeats. Now, again, that's 8 weeks. I'll zoom out here for a second. Very few programs are going to be able to get in all 8 weeks in phase 1. Because this assumes that you're starting into November, beginning of December. If you started the first week in December and had a state meet the middle of May, excuse me, the math works out that you're going to be able to get in 24 weeks. But let's say you have an athlete join you, not until January, and let's say that athlete's going to be on the JV and their last meet is going to be at the beginning of May. What you need to do is you need to go through these weeks, all of these phases. Okay, let's talk about where to start on your daily plan. Which daily plan, there's a lot of them on there. Which one do you start with? You need to go back to the cross country season and say, what was an athlete's 3 or 4 long runs in September and October? Okay, so the longest ones. Let's say we had an athlete who did 1 75-minute run, 2 70-minute runs, and 1 65-minute run. So that we're going to say on average they ran about 70 minutes for their long run at the end of the cross country season. And by the way, we're not using the number that they might have hit in August or early September, their absolute longest long run, because here we are on the track training system. We're trying to marry the beginning of the track season, winter training with where they left off in cross country. Okay, so for this athlete, it's 70 minutes. But what we're going to do is we're going to back them off to 60 minutes to start with. So you'll see a document that has LR60, okay? So that's what you would use in phase 1. And then all of the videos I'm going to talk about in terms of the calendars and going through the daily plans, I've used this long run 60 athlete. Okay, first thing, what's going to happen with your athletes, almost unless you've done the cross country training system already, but for everybody who's new to the track training system, your athletes are almost surely running their long run slower than I think they should be running and that they're capable of running. So we're making the long run not only a key part of our training, but we're running our long runs faster. So when we dial back from 70 minutes to 60 minutes, what we're doing though is we're going to be running faster, okay? Now, we will progress from 60 minutes up to 70 minutes and beyond. This athlete who starts in week 1 of a 24-week training program doing a 60-minute long run will get up to a 75 and a 78-minute long run. But the key point is they'll be running a lot faster. So let's say they were running 7:20 a mile with you when they're doing their 70-minute long run in the cross-country season. That's only 9.3 miles, okay? So let's say we progress from 60 minutes up to 70 minutes, but they're running 70-minute or 7-minute pace. Well, now they're running 10 miles, obviously, right? Let's say we can get that down to like 6:40 pace, And let's say they're doing a 75-minute long run. If my math is right, that's an 11-mile run. So point being, over the course of the track training system, we're going to have athletes gain about 2 miles on their long runs. All of these plans, once an athlete, is really focused on the long run, and as I've talked about earlier, they're going to be doing strides at the end of their long run. What you're going to see with their volume is the long run volume is going to increase. Now, I use that number for the long run to base all the easy runs and then the volume of the workouts. Okay. So some kids are going to be doing progression runs that are 20 minutes. Some kids, this athlete who's doing the 60-minute long run will build up to a 30-minute progression run. As a tangent, I think there's a lot to be said for a 25-minute progression run later in the season, even a 20-minute progression run, even for a fit kid. Just hitting that threshold type effort, something that's challenging just for 20 or 25 minutes is fantastic. Bottom line is that this is where you'll ask a lot of questions and you'll think, man, I don't know if this is enough volume for my athletes. Because yes, we have the long run, and yes, we have our workout days. And Jay, I know those are harder days. Just trust me early on in these first few weeks that your practices are going to be long, because they're doing all the post-run work, and then they're doing the progression of strides, and they're going to be tired after the progression of strides and then go straight into the post-run work. I would challenge you to look at this. Over the first 3 weeks of the track training system, look at how many minutes you're spending at practice to get everything in. Jeff's warm-up, then the run, then the post-run work. And when they're doing all that and not taking a lot of time in between, I still think you'll find that the practices are longer for these kids. And as I talked about in another video, we're extending the aerobic stimulus. So even though in these things where, hey, we started with a 70-minute long run in cross country, we're dialing it back to 60. Those first 3 or 4 weeks, we're building up the volume. We'll get back to a 70-minute long run, but the practices are longer. And the final thing to say here is that by the time you get 4 weeks into the track training system, your kids are going to have much more time spent training than they had with you in cross country. And their volume, the amount of running they might be doing, is a little bit less. But what you're going to find is kids are going to stay injury-free because they're doing all the post-run work. And this will lead to PRs in the outdoor season because we have such a focus on doing that stride progression. What we're basically trading in is, if I'm honest, some junk miles or some slower running that, yes, there's an aerobic benefit to it, but we're going to take a little bit of that away, and we're going to make sure we're running fast. Okay, I'll stop there. Feel free to ask questions. All right, let's talk about the daily schedule. Okay, this assumes a lot of things. It assumes, when you log into the track training system, I have to assume that you've watched every video leading up to this point. I've tried to keep them as concise as possible, but you need to understand we're doing Jeff's warm-up, we're doing the run, we're doing strides, we're doing post-run work. That's what's going to be in here. You need to understand all the aerobic workouts. That'll be in there as well. What's going to be coming on, what will come later on, are these race pace workouts. So what I'll do when we get to that part in this daily schedule is I'll say, hey, after you've watched this, go ahead and watch that. But yeah, this is super fun. So here we go. Let's hop into it. All right. So this column here has the weeks to state. And again, this assumes weeks to state, but it could be weeks to the end of the season. Remember that almost very few kids are going to do 24 weeks. So what's going to happen, as I talked about in the calendar video, is you're going to be cutting off, you're going to be truncating some of this part of phase 1. But again, yellow is phase 1. And just like we talked about in the other calendar, green is phase 2. And then red is phase 3. If you're wondering what those colors are, I'll get to them in a moment. Okay, we are doing the 1,600 meter long run 60, and this is phase 1, 2, and 3. So even though this is Saturday, let's actually start with Saturday to explain this. 60-minute long run, okay? So that's the volume we're starting with. And as I said in the calendar video, this is for an athlete who was averaging 70 minutes for their last 3 or 4 runs in cross country. Okay, so we're going to start with the long run because that's what this is based off, is that we're doing a 60-minute long run. And remember, this is for your athlete. That the athlete you would put into this plan is somebody who is doing a 70-minute long run in cross country. All these volumes make sense in terms of, hey, a 33-minute easy day, 4 times 20-second strides at the 15-minute mark of the run. Now, if you're saying, man, they're only going to run 15 minutes and start doing strides, I'm always trying to give the athlete 15 to 18 minutes to do those strides, okay? When we get up here, fast forward in 2 weeks, when we're doing a 36-minute run, if you look, it says at the 20-minute mark, we do our strides, okay? So the longer these runs get, the later we do those strides. So we're always doing strides on the easy day. Post-run work is red. If you're wondering why we're doing red the first week, I just think there's so much going on the first week. I skipped over this. We're doing Jeff's warm-up to start, and then we're doing this run. We want to go straight into the post-run work. Just this idea of we warm up, we go straight into our run, we're doing strides, we go straight into post-run work. I think cognitively, that's actually more of a challenge than we think it is for athletes. And let's be honest, for a lot of you, they're having to buy into something new. If you haven't done the cross-country training system, this is new for your athletes. You're doing the track training system. This is a new approach. So we're just starting with red. Most kids who could handle 60, who are doing 70-minute long runs in cross-country, in 2022, you probably had them doing core strength or general strength of some sort, and they might find the red to be pretty easy, but then the next week we'll go into orange. Okay, easy run, fartlek, you know what that workout is. Then we go easier. We dial down the volume on the workout day. And then this first week, we go back up to the 33-minute run, but we do hard post run, okay? So red hard. Then we go back to an easy day on Friday. Hey, and if you needed them to do this on their own later in the year, I think that's totally fine. I mean, this is a short day, Jeff's warm up. This is a day they can hang out with their friends after they're done with all this. Okay, long run. 60 minutes here. And at the 40-minute mark, we're doing 4 by 25-second strides. So this is different than doing 20-second strides. We're doing longer strides. We'll build up to 30 seconds later on. And this should be a challenging run for them, because remember, if you have an athlete who ran 70 minutes earlier in the cross-country season and they're thinking, coach, I'm only running 60 minutes, tell them, yeah, and let's get after it, okay? Enjoy the first 20 minutes, maybe get going a little bit at 30 minutes, but when we get to the 40-minute mark, it's on. We're doing these strides. This is something new. And then when we go back into it, okay? So that's week 1. Now, these other weeks are going to follow this pattern. We're doing an easy run with strides. We're doing easy post run. We're doing a workout. This is a progression run. And you know what that is. For the athlete here, the volume is 45 minutes. Oh, I should have said that in week 1. A long run of 60, 45 minutes makes sense for the volume of the workout. If you feel like that's not enough, just trust me. They should be getting after it on these workouts. And we're not looking at Garmin's on the fartleks and the progression runs necessarily. But if they do want to upload that to Final Surge or share it with you after the run, I think you'll see they'll be running pretty fast. So workout, then an easy day, and then Thursday is this longer. We go a little bit longer, just a minute longer, and we're doing hard post-run work. Orange hard, they might be a little fatigued today because 48 hours earlier, they did a progression run, they did an orange hard day, and orange is harder than red, okay? As we get through the progressions, yellow is where we make the big jump in the post-run work. 62 minutes, just a little bit longer on the long run. And then same thing this week. Now we're doing a fartlek again. This time the fartlek, they're doing one more chunk, and they're doing this one. They had 2 minutes at 5K effort, followed by 3 minutes steady. That's a pretty easy fartlek. I wouldn't say easy, but it's not the hardest workout in the world. It's the first workout of the year. But when we come down to this fartlek, we're going 5 minutes longer, 50 minutes, and we're doing 3-2, okay? They need to be ready to go. We're 2 weeks in, so they've learned the warm-up. They know how to do post-run work. Now they should be able to really get after it in this workout. So they do this, orange hard, easy day, come back Thursday, a little bit longer run, hard post-run, easy Friday. Now they're at a 65-minute run. I think the third week of training, a 65-minute run, we're at the 45-minute mark. Now they're doing 5 by 25-second strides. I think your most serious kids, your boys and girls who had a great cross-country season and are ready to get after it, I think we can expect this workout to go well. And then we come back the next week with the progression run. They've done a progression run before. This is, a 25-minute progression run. They know what they're doing. The big change here is twofold. Number one is they can do orange or yellow. do not rush kids on the post-run work, okay? That being said, I mean, if you did the cross-country training system, you definitely will have kids ready for yellow right now. But I also think people who are new to the track training system, you know, there's a good chance you were in the weight room, you were doing core strength, you were doing some challenging stuff for your juniors and seniors. There's a very good chance they can handle yellow post-run. Just know that to bump up from orange to yellow here, this week of orange has had to go really well. And specifically the orange hard after their long run in this week needs to have gone well. Okay, so what are we doing this week that's different? We got the baby track workout. And we're doing Jeff's warm-up straight into 10 or 20 minutes of running. Your kids are not going to like this at first because the volume's low on this day. Then we go to the track and we change into spikes. We're doing 5 by 120 at 1600 meter goal pace. That's not that fast, okay? A 120, you know, for a girl who's going to run 520, that's not fast running. And then the recovery is just the rest of that lap. So it's essentially, you know, it's really like 250 meters, and then she's running in 30 meters and then running a 120. So we just keep doing that, and then don't cool down with the jog, take their spikes off, go straight into the hard post run work. This is going to be a low day on their training plan, or excuse me, a low day in their training log, but it's going to be harder than they think. But this is a nice day too, when the weather isn't great, that you could flip-flop things. You know, you could have done this on Tuesday if it's a bad weather day, but you think the track is safe, and then the weather Thursday is going to be nice. You could switch these. I don't necessarily love a workout here and a long run here. But what I'm trying to highlight is this is kind of short and sweet, but in this week of practice, because it's track, we want to move past just a progression of strides. We want to be on the track and doing these baby workouts. And what you'll see for the rest of phase one is that we do this on Thursday. But I should also say that anytime you want to just do what we did in this week, which was a little bit longer of an easy run and hard post run work, that's fine. Because there's going to be certain days where a Thursday has bad weather and they can run outside and they can do strides as part of the run, but they shouldn't be on the track spiked up. Okay, 67 minutes. We're really getting back to that 70-minute long run that they did. And then this week, man, it's I would say a game on, because we're doing the aerobic repeats and we're doing yellow hard. So for this athlete, what are we, 5 weeks into training? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is the 5th week into training. We're doing our aerobic repeats. Super fun workout. Kids really enjoy it. I used to have it later on in the training, but kids liked it so much. Let's do it in week 5. Post-run work is hard, baby workout, hard post-run, and then now they're back at their 70-minute run. This athlete should be running at least a mile farther, maybe closing in on a mile and a half farther, and maybe starting to say, oh my gosh, pretty soon I'm going to be running 2 miles farther on my long run than I was in cross-country season. And then do a progression run here. I think for this athlete, yeah, it's 30 minutes where it used to be 25 minutes. Track workout here. And if we go back to the baby track workout, we did 6 by 120. And then this track workout's different. We're going to do 4 by 120 at 1600 meter pace, ending at 800 meter pace, 250 jog a full lap. And then we're doing 2 by 300 with a lot of recovery with 2 or 3 minutes. And we're practicing going fast, faster, fastest, just like inconsistency is key. So we're going to go 1600 meter pace on the backstretch. I should do this for you this way, I think. We should go 1600 meter pace on the backstretch, faster on the curve, and then 95% on the home stretch. Cue them with 95%. Don't say run all out in that last 100 meters. When we say run all out, we get really tight, okay? So just cue them to say, hey, I want your last 100 meters to be fast. And it's only a 300, but we're 6 weeks into training. This is a shock to the system because I wouldn't say it's a shock. We've progressed to this, but this is a different mentality this day. And so let's take 2 or 3 minutes and let's do one more, okay? Again. Sorry, the mic was off. Yeah, some crazy hair there. Folks, I've never had this many people on a live, I was going to say call. It's not a call, it's a class. And I just so appreciate that you're here. This is awesome. There's so many good questions coming here. What I'm trying to do is when I play the recording, you should probably focus on what's there, but you could look at what's in the chat too. It's a lot of information going back and forth. I will definitely take some questions now. Well, I do want to make sure we get through these slides. But yeah, if anybody had any questions, yeah. Okay, I got to think for a second. We have one other short bunch of videos, and I really want to show them to you because I want you to get another sense of what's in the track training system. So, you have the track training essentials. You've got 5 weeks of training, and I went through those weeks day by day by day, right? People are asking some questions like, hey, why do you use minutes versus miles? Okay, the reason we want to use minutes over miles is we want to be really careful with the volume, right? On Facebook earlier in the first 20 or 25 minutes was my friend Jeff Mezer, who again has coached this guy, Jojo Jordan, won NXN last year. This young man won or broke 4 minutes in the mile. Jeff is also coaching a young man from the Northeast who just made the Foot Locker finals, but he wasn't going into the season. He wasn't even ranked top 100. Basically, nobody knew who this kid was, and now he's going to run at Foot Locker finals. Jeff used his minutes, and I got goosebumps saying this because it was just such an eye-opener to me when I looked at some of Jeff's training, and it was to the minute. So we might do a 32-minute run versus a 30 or a 35. Now, I know I already covered it in that video, but I forget who asked me this question. I think it was Justin. Yeah, Justin saying, Justin, we're answering your question here. I've used miles for years for my teams and just started at a new school that has struggled in the past. And I think minutes would be best for our new runners. Here's why, Justin. When we tell, it's almost like it's binary. We either have 1 mile or we have 2, right? But if you have that kid who's a 10-minute miler, a 5-minute difference is a half mile. And they're probably either running 1 mile or 2 mile. And Justin, you just nailed it. These are the types of kids that get injured. So when we send them on a 32-minute run versus 35 versus 37 versus 40, we have 3 different ways. We went 32 to 35 to 37, then we got to 40. And for most kids, we just go from 30 to 40. Shin splints, I feel like we should all raise our hand if you've had kids deal with shin splints. And I guess when I was a college coach, yes, I had people deal with shin splints. If you're on the other side of this and you're sitting at your computer right now, or you're on your phone and you've had kids deal with shin splints, or how about plantar fascia, or how about IT band, how about a hamstring injury? Those injuries that are popping up in week 2 and 3 and 4, or popping up after the first race, you have to, everybody thinks that the reason they're popping up is because they're not doing the chassis strengthening work, right? They've built the aerobic engine, they're not strengthening the chassis. Absolutely, we've got to strengthen the chassis. You've got all those videos in the track training essentials. But I would argue the thing that's really going to keep these kids injury free is this very patient, very logical, very linear progression of volume. And we're doing it with our easy days. We're doing it with our harder workouts. Actually, the harder workouts, I wouldn't say they plateau. They don't go up as much like this, where with the easy days and the long runs, we're just going like that. So, but that's great. This is a great question. We're going to talk about being spiked up when track is unavailable due to snow and bad weather. Actually, absolutely, Grant. This is something where I always say you've got to get your strides in on day 1 if the footing is safe. I'm in the Denver metro area, and our weather is such that we might have a ton of snow, and they'll put down sand and salt on the roads. Snow melts, but now we've got gravel on the asphalt. So just do what you can, okay? I think one of the key concepts to leave tonight's video with, to leave this class with, is if I'm a coach, I am doing strides the first day we meet. And I almost don't even like the term strides because we are doing them at 5K rhythm. I'm actually getting a little bit ahead. This will be in our slides. But then I got the sense that, Grant, maybe you're an athlete, which is awesome. If you are an athlete, Grant, you need to say the same thing, saying whether you, even for a 3,200 meter runner, you've got to be on top of strides from day 1, but only if the footing is safe. Somebody's saying, Jen's saying a coach friend is online but can't comment. Will he still be able to access the bonuses you said he was going to offer? Absolutely. We'll get to all that stuff. Anybody I mean, you could even get off this class tonight. And if you join the track training system, I'm just going to put it in here now because we do have people asking about it. Anybody who joins the track training system gets the bonuses tonight. Maybe I should do like a special QR code that was only on the screen, but no, it's just, I put it in the chat. I have a wonderful assistant who I did not have last year. Her name is Tara Gilmore. Anybody who's coming to the Boulder running clinics, she's traveling out from Montana. She's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. But she's so organized. And what we'll do is on the back end, anybody who signs up tonight, and it does have to be tonight. We aren't going to do it tomorrow, but there's going to be bonuses where you're going to get books. You might even get some more books and then some other things as well. This is great, Matt. Wicket spacing. Which document has the wicket spacing? I can't seem to find it. That is at the end of the track training essentials. And the wicket spacing, I think you're spot on, Matt or Mike. That is something that's nice to have, and is really, I would say, in the track training essentials, you've never had a plan called the no prior training plan. That is magic, okay? Use that in February or March when those kids come out. And then I also think we have a lot of people talking about middle school. I've got a daughter in this house over there who's in middle school, and she unfortunately doesn't have track at her school. She really likes track. She's really fast. And this summer, she met Jeff Boulay for some workouts, and they did run over mini hurdles. So whether you call them wickets or mini hurdles, that's a great thing for these middle school athletes to do. And in the track training essentials, you have that. Lifting component. Within the weeks that you present in the track training, when you adding lifting component? All right, good question. Tease me up to answer it this way. I believe, this isn't even a belief. This is, I've been coaching for 25 years. And if you want to trust me on this right here, I'm going to make it go. Well, you can't read it. It says body weight to light external load to heavy external load. And then this is pretty good, right? We've got the person here doing the lunge, and then the lunge with the dumbbells, and then the lunge with the barbell. So we had body weight lunge, then we're holding dumbbells. That's light external load. Now we've got a barbell on our back, and now we're doing a lunge. I don't love that. We're loading the spine, but it made for a really good image in the book. So those are things that we could be doing. But coaches in the track training system and in the cross-country training system are in it for multiple years, don't have kids going to the weight room, and have kids running really fast. Do not leave this live class tonight saying, we've got to go to the weight room to have, a great 4x8 or to have 800 runners be able to run fast on the 4x4. There is so much you can do at the track. There's this great track coach, Vern Gambetta, and he used to have this, he still does have this saying, the weight room without walls. And what is the weight room without walls? It's your high jump apron. And you can get medicine balls out there, and you can get you can get hurdles out there. You could even do kettlebells. And I even forget that when you get the track training system, you have all of Jeff Boulay's videos. So you have medicine ball videos and you have hurdle mobility videos. If I was in your shoes and I could come to your school and you had a set of 12 hurdles or maybe 18 hurdles, we would set those up. Kids would walk through hurdles, and then we'd ask our booster club, say we need about $200, and we're going to get medicine balls from Amazon. We want bouncy ones that we can do high toss and whatnot. So I don't know your first name, but Jay Geese, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Great question, but the weight room is not a must. The must is building the aerobic engine. The must is race pace workouts. We'll get to that in a second. The run, or the must, is a progression of stride from day one. The must is extending the aerobics stimulus, right? We're going from our warm up to our running to our post-run work, not taking any breaks. An asterisk in the winter would be if we're finishing a long run outside and it's really cold and we need to get into the gymnasium, or an athlete needs to get into their basement and, heart rate's going to go down a little bit. That's absolutely fine. Yeah, Stan, always good to see Stan, and hope to see you at the clinic. I'm not seeing some of the links you're sharing. How can I assure to get those and other information? Timothy, I have a different, I'll go back into Facebook and put those links in there, but I didn't know that when I share this, only the links are shared on YouTube. So on that Facebook chat, if you just scroll up, you'll be able to see them there. Okay, folks, let's get into some slides and talk about, where are we? Yeah, I think this is time to talk about this. Okay, 1,600 meters training. You know what's in the track training system in terms of some videos. You have a feel of the training. What I didn't want anybody to do is come to this class tonight and say, you know what, he didn't share any of the good stuff. And this is not something that's going to make sense in my budget tonight. My school can't help me, things like that. So what we're about to do now is I want to give you information that's going to help 1,600 meter runners, 800 meter runners, 3,200 meter runners. Okay. So we're going to go into that right now and let's talk about this. So 1,600 meter training. How much volume do we need, right? So we're always going to look at volume. Early in the year, we might only do 2,400 meters of work. Now I'm going to use 400s and say, what would 2,400 meters be? It would be 6 by 400. Could we do 8 by 400? Yeah, those are some classic workouts. If you're like, Jay, we've always just done 10 by 400, that's fine. But I really want to see 1,600 meter runners. Most workouts in my system are going to be around 3,200 meters of volume. We might do 5 by 300, right? So 5 by 300 gives us 1,500 meters. And we're going to do that with some floats in between. We're going to take a big break and then we're going to do that again. That's a key workout. One of the things that is so crucial, and it's just was so fun to write this book and then not know what was really going to resonate with kids. But the number one things that resonates with kids is prepare for running fast, faster, fastest, okay? And so we are going to end all of our workouts going fast, faster, fastest. At the end of the Track Training Essentials document, there's it talks about running the 1,600 meters with 500 to go, okay? Here's what we would do. In a 1,600, we would groove race pace for 400 meters. And then the second lap, 800 meters. And then on the third lap, we groove it for the first turn, the backstretch, the second turn. So we would have run 1,100 meters. But what fast, faster, fastest means for this 1,600 meter runners is now we're actually going to speed up before the bell lap. So we're going to go 200 fast. So home stretch, first curve. Now on the backstretch, we're going to hit it again. And we're going to switch gears. Backstretch, second curve. So that was our fastest, faster. And what was our fastest? Obviously the last 100. But the problem is, if you have a coach that you respect in your school who came and watched your practice, they would say, when do you replicate the game and when do you play at game speeds, right? So I absolutely love basketball, and basketball, they're going to have things that are at game speed and they're going to replicate what's going to happen in the game. We don't do that enough with 1,600 meter runners and 800 runners and 3,200 meter runners. We need to put them in a position to run race pace and then speed up. You expect kids to be able to switch gears in the race. And this is at late season when you have a kid trying to score points at the conference meet, when you have a kid trying to, in this day and age, the kids really have to run fast to advance to state, okay? And the best way to run fast is to beat other people in front of you or to win the race. But if you haven't had them switch gears in the workouts, they won't be ready to do that. So I ask you tonight, what workouts do you have? Like if you had a workout of 8 by 400, I'm not saying, everybody says, well, we want our last 400 to be our fastest. Well, what about our 7th 400? Let's make that fast as well. And then within the 400, this is a key thing to leave tonight with, is you might have them run 200 at a faster pace, or excuse me, if they're doing 8 by 400, they're going to run 6 at about their current PR pace. On rep number 7, they're going to run 300 at a little faster, at a pace that's faster than their PR, and they're going to run the last 100 fast. Okay, now they're taking 60 seconds or whatever, but think how hard it is to know that on the last rep, we want 200 fast, 100 faster, 100 fastest. How awesome would it be for you to empower the athlete with that ability in a workout, okay? And so all the workouts in the track training system do that. Now, I like doing longer reps and taking big breaks. Or when we do that 5 by 300 with the 200 float, that's this continuous running. It's really hard. But then we take 5 to 8 minutes. You might have an athlete do an 800 where they're modeling. What I mean by race modeling is that you're going to have them run 800 meters exactly the way you want to run the first 800 of the race, and then take a big break. And now you might do some 300s or 400s and maybe a couple 500s really fast to replicate what they're going to do in the race. Do they need to end with 120s? I love ending workouts with 120s. What is a 120? It's the small triangle in lane 1. That's the acceleration zone triangle, right? We've got 10 meters for the acceleration zone. The exchange zone is 20 meters. And so that, I mean, if you just go to the track, it's going to be 120 meters. And then they can build up for 30 meters, run their 120. The one thing I would say is if the last running in the workout was really good, they don't need the 120s. So sometimes, like in that example of the kid doing 8x400, if they just ripped it in the last 400, you don't have to pile on more 120s because they feel awesome. They just ran the best workout of their life. They ran fast, faster, fastest. They don't necessarily need to do more. Okay, Now Watt's featured in consistency is key. Very convenient that we added them this year. But no, I asked Kelly Christensen, the coach, if I could feature his team. Kelly's a good friend. Kelly's such a good friend. I have on my Instagram, he and I got to go to a University of Colorado football game. First game of the season. CU barely won. It was a little stressful. But Kelly will have not only his A 4x4, he'll put distance kids on a B 4x4, a C 4x4, a D 4x4. He wants every kid who can contribute in the spring to run a 400 at small meets. Now, if you're saying, Jay, at an invitational, our sprint coach has all 4 of those filled up, I understand. But sometimes this is a reason to go to a small meet where you contact the meet director and say, hey, can we just run a whole nother heat of the 400 with just our team? Okay. I'm telling you, if the boys team that just won Nike Cross Nationals has his team running 4x4 legs all year long, it begs the question, should you be doing the same? And I think the answer is absolutely, right? So if that's helping them in cross country, it's absolutely helping those boys at 1600 meters. His girls are amazing too. This was 2 years ago. They had 12 girls, and this is up here at elevation, run 5:11 or faster. Imagine your 12th girl is a 5:11 girl, but that's at 5,000 feet. We get a 6-second conversion for any human running about that pace. It's about a 6-second conversion. So that means his 11th girl, if she was at sea level, is a 5:05 girl. Same thing. Whether you want boys running great in cross country or girls running great in the 1600 or boys running great in the 1600, got to run the 4x4. Folks, are we fired? Who's fired up for some 400s now? Jimmy, I agree. Let's go. Plyometrics. We're not doing HIIT workouts or weight room workouts. I know there's some good cross country coaches who do that. We're not doing plyometrics. Easy to get kids injured with plyometrics. However, definitely watch the warm-up that's in the Track Training Essentials, because in that warm-up with Jeff Belay, we are getting some light plyometric contacts in the warm-up. So that's really a good question. Oh, and in his multi-directional cool down, which I believe is in the orange easy post run, we're doing some plyometric contacts as well. Okay, 800 meter training. First thing you need to do, shoot, folks. I don't have the links lined up for this, but you can find this. Just Coach Jay Johnson 800. It will pop up. That'll actually help my Google ranking a little bit too. First article. What's it on? How to run. How to break 2 minutes in the 800 for a boy, 2:20 for a girl. Obviously, those are important barriers. It has every split you need. It has a workout we do, which is a 500. I'll talk about it in a moment. Maybe as powerful as this 800 meter pre-race day. Here, you have to set your 800 meter runner up the day before the race, a lot different than your 3,200 meter runner, right? When you have a girl who can run 2:18, she's got to average 69s, but she's really got to run the first lap in 68, come back in 70. And within that 68, is she going to run 34-34? Now, she might run 34-34 because the first 200 is from a standing start. So 34 from a standing start is actually a faster 200 than her second 200 if that's in 34. But she's probably going to run 33 something. So my question to you is, what do you have this young woman doing the day before she's going to PR in the 800? And here it is. It's the 800 meter pre-race day. That was something where I'm like, should I really be sharing something with the track training system or from the track training system with everybody? I thought, hey, there's going to be times where I have to share the real stuff. And I want to share it with coaches because I want coaches to be able to set their athletes up to PR. Okay. Your 3,200 runner. I mean, let's make the math easy for me. Let's say it's a girl who can run 1040, right? So that's 520 miles. So that's 80s per 400. So the first 200 is going to be in 40. Now, of course, they're going to run 38 or 39, even 37. But the point is, like, that athlete neuromuscularly needs and will thrive on a different stimulus to start her day prior to racing the 3,200 the next day. So those are both really powerful. Okay, 800 meter training. Some people say you need more volume than this. I really like 1,200 meters. I mean, what we'll talk about in that workout in the article is a 500. And then we're going to do 3 200s. That adds up to 1,100 meters. People have a lot of success with that. Could it be 1,600 meters of volume? Absolutely. Negative split. Oh, shoot. It should say positive split. Total fail. To be clear, we want a positive split. Oh man, what a bummer. I should probably say, oh, I had these slides ready, 5 days ago and I edited them. Nah, these got done about 2 hours ago. Okay. So we're doing a positive split, right? So our girl who's going to run 218 is running 68.70, right? That's a positive split, meaning the second half was slower. In every other distance, 1,600, 3,200, 5K, we want a negative split, right? Our boy who's going to run 159, he's probably running 59.60. So that's a 1 second difference. The question is, could the boy run 58.5, 60.5 to get his 159? And that would be 2 seconds. I really like that. I think 58.5, 60.5. I think our girl who's I'm going to make the math easy on me, say it's a girl who's going to run 220 because I got to do math on the spot. That's 69.71. So I really like that. Let's go back to that girl who's going to run 220. Could she do a 3 second split and run 67.70? Totally fine. In fact, I would want to see that young woman running 67.70 for this reason. She's going to run 220 as a sophomore, but then she's got to run 218, right? And now that 67, if she can come back and run, I screwed that up. It would be 68. Oh, I'm doing the math wrong. You understand what I'm saying with 3 seconds. Basically, if somebody ran, what would be a 68.5 and a 71.5, that would add up to 220. And I'm saying those splits are good because we want that woman eventually to go out in 68, come back in 69 and run 217. Okay. So I think a 3 second split for a young kid. And then we're going to talk about John O'Malley later tonight. His boys are featured in here. He's had boys run 7:46 is their average 4x8 for 12 years. And he says, I don't care if kids are walking the last 100. He doesn't say walking. I think he said jogging, but going so slow the last 100, if they really were aggressive in their first meet of the season. Now, at the end of the season, obviously we want them figuring out this 1 to 2 to 3 second positive split, but we want aggression earlier in the year. Okay. I really think the way to teach this to kids is 500 meters, feeling comfortable. But here's the deal. When they hit the backstretch in an 800, they got to compete. Those 300 meters are going to hurt. All right. So just like we talked about with the 1600, we need more rest than you think. So in the workout that's for free online, we're doing a 500. We're taking 5 to 8 minutes, and then we're going to do our 120s. If that seems like a lot, I mean, my question to you would be, when's the last time you had a kid do a 500 from a standing start at race pace? I mean, that's a hard workout, right? And then obviously we want our best 800 runners on the 4x4 as often as possible. I'm just going to put this comment up here again. Who's fired up for some 400s now? I just love that. Thank you, Jimmy. That was fun. All right. 800 meter train. What date do your best 800 meter runners run 100 meters at 800 meter PR pace? Okay, January 17th. That is going to be the first day of the Boulder running clinics. That's 39 days away. Is it tomorrow? Is it December 9th? Okay. It's probably not tomorrow unless you had kids that were with you for the last 2 or 3 weeks building up to this. But the third one is if it's in February, why is that? And if you're meeting kids next week, this week, next week, or the week after, but the first time they run 100 meters at 800 meter pace, please don't take this as me being rude. You are doing a bad job as a coach. If you've had an athlete with you for 5 to 6 to 7 weeks and they've never run 100 meters at 800 pace, I don't care if they're a 3,200 meter runner or they're an 800 meter runner, that's bad coaching on your part. But what's so cool is you can change that. You can change that tonight, just understanding that in the track training essentials, that free 40-page PDF is just a progression of strides. You just follow those strides. Now, if you're meeting kids tomorrow, you're going to do strides at 5K pace, and that's fine. But in a couple weeks, we're moving towards 3,200 and 1,600 and 800, okay? So we need that. John O'Malley's pull quote. I'll show you what a pull quote is. I should probably have these bookmarked. Oh, I got lucky. Okay. Sandburg High School, suburb of Illinois. John O'Malley is the coach. He's had 8 different boys run 4:10 or better in the 1,600. I will let that sink in. Most programs would be pretty psyched to have 1, maybe 2 boys run 4:10. This is also the program where for 12 years, they've averaged 7:46 or faster. So this is what he says. This is called a pull quote, where you pull it out in the whole page. Okay, our feet are moving fast every day. We want to engage, recruit, and stimulate fast movement patterns. Now, if you're thinking, Jay, he's talking about speed development. He's talking about going over wickets or mini hurdles, and you haven't talked about that. You're absolutely right, and maybe we should be doing that from day one. But what I'm trying to say is the road to great 4x8s and the road to great milers, at a minimum, is getting to 800 meter pace as soon as possible. Man, I love talking about track. Cross country is awesome, but in many ways it ended yesterday. No offense to Foot Locker. And isn't it awesome to talk about the 800 and the 1,600? Okay, 3,200 meter training. Honestly, I think the training is kind of boring. That doesn't mean I don't love the 3,200. As I was writing this slide, I was picturing, and it might have been 2004, it might have been a different year. Chris Zielinski, Brent Vaughn, they both ran under 850 at Arcadia. It was one of the, in my mind, it was the most important race and the coolest race of the night. It was great. But honestly, you can probably figure out the right race pace workouts based on what you did on cross country if you were successful in cross country. But my question to you is, we're doing a race pace workout, let's say on Tuesday. My question to you is, do you have a safe progression of volume for all the other running that this boy's going to have to do? Okay. And if we focus on boys and the fact that boys have to run 9:20 in most states to be good, so that's 4:40, so that's 70-second 400s. It's not just, I love it when people think that running training is just, well, you would go practice the race every day, right? Obviously not. So we want the 9:20 boy to be able to run 4:40s, to be able to run 70s per 400. He doesn't do 400s every day. He's got to build the aerobic engine throughout the year. And in 2024, to have boys who are good in the 3,200, you've got to run some volume. As an asterisk, as I'm saying that, the NIWAT boys run a lot less volume than you think. But if you look at the total training stress, they're doing a lot of stuff. They're doing speed development. They're doing post-run work. They're doing some threshold running, but they're ending at the track with some 200s. That, by the way, is something that I'm going to steal and put into the track training system. But I just think that would be my question to you. Have you been able to keep these 3,200 meter runners healthy? Here's another question. So I think 3,200 meters of volume is often enough for these kids, even though we think they need more. I don't like going above 4K. Obviously, that's only 10 laps, but I really don't like that. 4,000 meters with some 120s at the end is all I like. Question again, what date does the athlete who's running the 32 touch on 800-meter rhythm for 100 meters. And at what date do they run 400-meter PR pace? Doesn't have to be long. It could just be 40 meters, right? Only 10%, or it could be as much as 80 meters. But I'm just saying touch on 400 pace. And don't do the athletes a disservice by not being able to answer question 1 and question 2. You should leave this class tonight saying, even if I'm not enrolled in the track training system, even if I never open another one of Jay's emails, I am going to be doing strides on day 1. I'm going to follow his progression of strides as an asterisk. If you Google progression of strides, there's an article on it as well, where you can get that PDF, and you're going to follow it so that your 3,200 meter kids are empowered with the ability to sprint at the end of races. Okay. It's so cool. I'm thinking of a certain 3,200 meter runner right now that they need to have this. Okay. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. And we're going to go back to this. Now we'll take, I'm going to see if there's any softball questions for me. Amanda, one of the boys has a goal to break 2 minutes in the 800. Last year, he mainly focused on the 600, 1,000, 1,600. Should he do more 300s also? No, for this boy to break it in the 800, the fact that indoors he's running the 600, oh my gosh, the 1,000, what a great way to prep a kid mentally to run the 800. But if he's running some 600s and some 1,000s, he's on either side. What I like about the 600, the 800, and the 1,000, all three of those hurt in a different way. And so he's learning how to hurt, how to be uncomfortable in different ways. And I think that's absolutely fine. I don't think he needs to run 300s, and then getting him on the 4x4 is great. Let's see here. So the TTS has separate workouts for 832 runners. I don't like separating kids based on event because I want them being able to compete well with each other. What do you think about alternating weeks? Yeah, that's absolutely fine. If you feel like from a team culture standpoint, you need to have all these kids together. We're going to do race pace workouts typically on Tuesday, sometimes on Monday. We might even do that 72-hour workout on a Wednesday prior to a Saturday meet. We really need those kids on that day focusing on the event they're going to race at that week. But that's only 1 day a week. So we've got our Monday easy run. Then we do our race pace workout, and they're doing Jeff's warm up, and they're doing all their post run work. Then Wednesday they go for an easy run, and they do some strides, and so they're running with their friends. Thursday they probably go for another easy run. Sometimes we do a 48-hour workout. Sometimes we do a pre-race day. We often do a 48-hour workout, like if it's a Saturday meet. So I would say that there's no team who doesn't strengthen team culture and bonding with each other as humans by doing the track training system. And then when kids run fast, when the 3,200 meter runner runs a huge PR, but the kid with more intermediate fiber and fast twitch fiber runs great on the 800 and then contributes on the 4x4, they get on the bus, both very happy, even though they couldn't do what the other could do. What do you suggest for kids who do multiple events? For example, my best 2 miles are also on our 4x8. Which training plan is best? I am so glad that you brought that up. We are doing the 5-pace system, the British miler system, the Frank Horwell system. Let's imagine the 1,600 as our home base, okay? Let's go down an event. That's the 800. Let's go up an event. That's the 3,200. The track training system for most kids, all your kids who ran cross country, we want most of them focusing on the 1,600. And the training, when I was designing this back in 2021, I knew that the training, we would start with the 1,600. Because if you do the right 1,600 meter training, kids will run 3,200 meters to their PR or to what their fitness dictates they should run, and run the 800. Now, I feel like we should raise hands, but I'm going to raise my own hand. How many people know what the Jack Daniels VDOT calculator is? Me. How many people know what the Tom Tinman Schwartz calculator is? Okay. Now, so often, if you plug in a 1,600 meter PR, you'll see that the athlete you're coaching is running a 3,200 meter PR that's basically on par with that, but they're not running the 800 time. Now, as an aside, neither of these calculators, like I don't think any of the calculators are able to basically figure out the 800 as well. But you basically know, hey, if you have a girl who's running 5'10" in the 1600, but she can't run much under 220, something's wrong. Like she can run faster than 220 if she's already running that fast for the 1600. And I think the best thing with the track training system, most coaches can take a 1600 meter runner, get them to go up an event in the 3200, but they're struggling to go down to the 800. Again, 1600 meters is our home base. I said 5 paces. The kids will be good at 32, good at 800. So we've got 3 paces, 800, 1600, 32. They'll be good in cross country and they'll be decent in the 400. They might not be great in the 400, but they'll be decent. You need to be looking at all your disciplines. If you have kids who are good in cross country, you need to say to them, you need to view them as a 5 pace type of kid. Say over the next 5 months, I'm going to see what they can run for 1600 meters, and then we can go out. The other thing too is if you have freshman and sophomore girls, 800s and 1600s, 800s and 1600s. This doesn't mean they can't be excellent 3200 meter runners their junior and senior year, but focus on that first, on the 800 and 1600. Boys, I really think that as freshmen as well. Okay, so now let's talk about what is in the track training system. This is it. But we will have time for questions in a moment, okay? First of all, let me just put this in here. Because if you want to check it out online, there it is. Okay. So you've got 24-week training plans, and they're all color coded. You guys saw what the first 5 weeks look like. And then if you look below that, you can see what those individual weeks look like. You just got to trust me on the fact that we have training for every athlete. There was somebody who asked some question earlier. They have a new school. Kids aren't doing a lot of volume. We've got everything from the no prior training kid up to your kids who are running 10 or 12 mile long runs. Most kids are going to be in between, right? This cross country season, they were doing a 60-minute long run or a 70-minute long run, but the kids who could only built up to a 35 or a 40 or a 45-minute long run, we've got them covered as well. So there, and if anything, it almost might feel a little overwhelming when you get in there because you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these plans. But what's awesome is it's going to free you up as a coach. You've got the day by day. You just got to pick the right plan, put Joey or Johnny or Sally or Susie on that plan. And then we've safely got all their easy days and long run and workout volume figured out based on minutes so that they're all going to stay injury free. So I'm going to get going through this a little bit because you have an idea. Hey, it's all the post run training. All of the track training system videos you can view on your phone, and you have an app for all of Jeff Bolay's videos. The warm-ups there, priority, email, support. I probably shouldn't admit this, but I'm going to. It was really tough for me to keep up with some things in cross country, and I've basically carved out in my weekly schedule to be able to answer emails. One of the things that's not on here is we do 5 live classes. The first one is Thursday night, same time, same place, same station, 6 p.m. But it's not for free. It's only people who are in the track training system. And so what I plan on doing is more often doing a video that answers a bunch of questions and putting that in the track training system, but then being able to answer your emails as well. So here's the deal. I want to talk about a program. Here are 2 key stats from a boys program featured in Consistency is Key. 8 different boys have run 4:10 or faster in the program. The average 4x800 time over 12 years is 7:46 for this program. That means, it should say 12 years, not 16. That means for 12 years, they've averaged 4 boys at 156. That means they've got 4 boys at 156. I mean, they probably have a 154 guy. That means the slowest guy. Imagine your 4th guy is a 157.9 or a 158.2 guy. Pretty awesome. And then they have the state record at 737.3. Okay, this is my friend John O'Malley, and this is what he has to say about the track training system. Yes, I would definitely recommend Jay's training program. The training and the access to him is honestly not available in any other way from any other resource. He's got a great training philosophy, and he also provides great webinars and answers any questions you may have. Anything else is not even close because you read the book or watch the video and that's it. And there are endless nuanced issues that present itself as a coach that you come across, and Jay is essentially a partner along the way. The training plans are really great and has plenty of pace variety, individual event modification, neuromuscular, and speed development, and does a great job hitting both metabolic and mechanical issues needed in running. He's constantly giving more. Full disclaimer, John O'Malley's a friend. I'm on a text thread with John O'Malley. So if you're like, Jay, that's one of your friends saying the track training system is great. Yes. And that's also a person of high character who's not going to give that type of recommendation unless he believes it. I got this awesome recommendation when I was applying to graduate school, and it was from my college track coach's best friend. And he said, when you're giving your recommendation, you're basically giving your reputation to somebody else. Okay. So that's John O'Malley. Yes, he's my friend, but that is a coach who has coached at the highest levels, and he sees value in this. Now, here's the deal. Some people say, well, it's a cookie cutter program. No, it's not. It's not a cookie cutter program. A cookie cutter program would be, we're doing this training and we're giving you 2 plans, and it works for the 800 and the 3200. No, there's all this nuance in here. And I don't know if Jody is still on here, but man, Jody is a fantastic coach. And she's a coach where I am going to have to tweak some of this and figure out how it's going to best fit her plan. Oh, somebody was also talking about what are we going to do indoors? I'll come back and answer that question. But there are ways that we're going to tweak this for your specific situation. What I will say, though, is that once people learn the system, you're typically able to answer those on your own. This is one of my favorite testimonials. Using your framework, I rewrote our middle distance training. This is from Coach Collins. For context, we were the 2021 state champions in cross country and track for boys and runner-up for girls, but more was needed. We competed this weekend at the state track meet and won both boys and girls. This includes, for the 4x8, the boys won and the girls were second. Both are new school records. 1600, boys, first and second. Girls, second, 8th, and 9th with a new school record. 800, first place boys. 3200, 4th and 8th for the boys. Girls, first and 8th. The boy who won the 1600 and the 800 did not lose a 1600 and 800 or a 32 all season. He didn't run the 32 at state. Took his PR from 424 to 414. That's a key point. Those are legit high school times. 424 to 414. The young woman took her 1600 from 517 to 503 and 1125 to 1057. So thank you for challenging me to rethink how we did things and offer tools for something different. 424, 414. You want that if you coach boys. 517 to 503. If you coach girls, you want that. I have a daughter who's run 514. I mean, if she could make that jump over 2 years, that'd be amazing, let alone 1 year. Now, here's the deal. Coach Collins is an extremely skilled coach. And if we interviewed him tonight, he would say, hey, I do the track training system, and it challenged the way your framework helped me rewrite our middle distance training. He's doing some other things as well. Okay. But this is a coach, and I think he's a very fascinating guy because he wasn't a high school educator. He actually had a soccer background. So he really comes into distance running in many ways, not having like bad habit. It's not really habits, like bad knowledge that would lead him down the path of, well, my coach coached me this way, so I'm going to coach kids in this way. But that's just something that we obviously want to have happen, are those jumps. Okay, so here we are. I'll make this quick. It's in the oh, Jody's still here. Hi, Jody. So you can either scan this QR code or you can do the link in the chat. Here's the deal. The track training system, you have lifetime access. That's at the top there. So that means that every year I update it and you have lifetime access. Now, I'm 49 years old. I'm in this game till I'm 79 or in my 80s probably. What's going to happen then? I don't know. Probably AI will be driving our cars and making our food. And I don't know. I promise you that as long as I'm around, you'll have access to this. It might be on a different platform. I don't know how it's going to work, right? But when you pay once, you have lifetime access. Now, there's a payment plan. You can spread it over 12 payments. It's only $43 for that. $43 a month for 12 months, then you have it. 8 copies of consistency is key, okay? So you will get 8 copies of this book. I don't even sell this book in bulk yet. You can buy it on Amazon, but it takes like 2 weeks to get here. This book is fantastic. And the why 8, right? 1 for you as the coach, 7 copies for your team, for your varsity team. And honestly, most teams are going to spread that out amongst like 14 kids or 20 kids. I think the pages get a little gross when you do that, but that's totally fine. What is the craft of coaching? The craft of coaching is a new course I'm putting together. I'm taking things from the Boulder running clinics, taking things from the mental skills course, and then I'm going to add some interviews with other coaches that I've never done before. This is never going to be for sale. Okay. I'm going to use it as times like this when the track training system or the cross country training system is on sale. Oh, and I should say this too. I never lower the price. Like it'll never be less than $495. Okay. But I do at certain times of year offer bonuses like this. So those two things, anybody can get between now and Thursday. But what I want to do tonight for you is to add all the Boulder Running Clinics videos, which cost $275. Here's who's featured in there. Coaches from Niwot, Kelly Christensen, Mountain Vista, Jonathan Dobby, American Fort, Timo Mostert, Hermian, Doug Souls, South Lake Carroll, Justin Leonard, Downers Grove North, John Sipple, Christian Brothers, which is also known as, which is Lincroft on their uniform, Sean McAfee, Lincoln High School, Oregon, has made it 2 years in a row. Eric Detman will be in there. Naperville North Girls, Dan Iverson. They've been second twice at NXN. Nequa Valley, Paul Vanderstein. He's retired, but he's in there. And then Sandberg, John O'Malley, who I talked about, he's in there as well. And tonight, I'm offering that as part of a bonus for tonight. The Boulder Running Clinic videos only go on sale in February. And I from a business standpoint, I think this is best just to have them available one small time for 2 or 3 or 4 days. And so you can't even buy these videos tonight, but you'll get them for free. And then the other thing I want to do, if you sign up tonight, let's do 15 copies of the book. 15 copies. Got one for you. If you got 7 boys and 7 girls, now they're taken care of. If you want your varsity and your junior varsity, that's taken care of. And I just put the retail price on here. Now, full candor, I'm going to be able to sell books in May. I'll be able to sell bundles of 15 books at something less than $254. All right. But I shouldn't admit that. I don't have tens of thousands of dollars to print all those books now. We'll be selling this book through the winter, take those sales, put it into printing. So, you could get more copies of the book in May, but there's a way to get 15 copies now. Okay. And then full disclosure, I'm a little annoyed at the printers in Michigan. They're supposed to have the books printed and shipped to Denver on Wednesday. And they're telling me that the books should ship out tomorrow. Takes them a week to get to Denver, got to process them. So we're probably not shipping out these books from Denver until next week, but I don't send them slow. I send them in a way that you'll get them in 2 or 3 days. And even with the holidays, something has to go really wrong for you not to get those in time. Okay. Jimmy, I purchased track training system this morning. Any chance I can get the added bonuses? Absolutely. And just so you know, folks, Tara, my assistant, is so good. I will just tell her tomorrow, any sale that came in today on Sunday, you will get all this. And if you do enroll tonight, what'll happen is you'll get this link that asks for, let me take this off. You'll get a link that asks for you to put in your name and your address and everything to get these books. We're just going to change it on the back end so that instead of 8, it's 15. And we actually put those in by hand. It's not an automation. We try and automate a lot of things, but we don't do that. Coach Kedge. Hey, Coach Kedge. I don't know if I'm allowed to. I hope you can see this on X. Adam Kedge, one of the best coaches in the country, Albuquerque Academy. His team made NTN. And if you're wondering what NTN is, the first 2 years of Nike Cross Nationals was called Nike Team Nationals. And the Albuquerque Academy boys made it multiple years and some great teams. So, yeah, this has been a great night. I'm going to take a glass of water. And now, you know where to find it. It's that QR code right there. I will put it in here a couple times. And if you don't enroll, that's fine. I just want to be helpful the rest of the night. I feel so blessed that we're an hour 38 into this. There would have been a time where I could have run a half marathon in an hour 38. And I'm quite embarrassed that if I had to race a half marathon to save my life tonight, I don't know if I could do it in an hour 39, which is how long we're going right now. Okay. Messy Mom, how much time off should an athlete take between cross country and indoors? If you search break between cross country and track, I have an article just for this. Okay, so search that and you'll be able to find it. Mike says, how do I enroll? And you just enroll. I'm going to put that. It's the link above you. You can click on that link and it'll take you there, or you can scan this QR code right here. Just take your phone, scan it with your little camera, and that'll take you to the link as well. Okay, let's go back and see if there are any questions. Yeah, Jody, winter qualifiers with too much racing. So, Jody, here's what we're going to do for your kids who want to run some indoor meets. Why don't we take a step back? My daughter ran track last year as a freshman, and it's one thing to be, to be somebody who makes a living in running, right? And be able to say, in an ideal situation, we're going to run these races and da-da-da-da. Well, here's what happened to our track season. They get to the month of May. Was it end of April? No, it was May. We had to meet snows. No, it wasn't May. Last 2 weeks of April, important meets snowed out. And what I'm realizing is, and then at that same time, or roughly the same time, I'm getting emails from coaches in Iowa, coaches in Wisconsin, all these places where they're either getting snowed out or winded out. Sometimes meets get canceled because of wind or rained out. So Jody, to your point, when I first came up the track training system, I thought we're going to de-emphasize indoors. We're going to do a couple races here and there, and then we really focus on outdoors. Okay. And I'll talk about Jim's question about if you're in the Northeast and indoors is more important. I'll talk about that in a moment. But Jody, I do think we want to kind of front load more racing opportunities in January if you're in a place where kids might not be able to race as much. Now, you're in California, and I assume your weather's pretty good most of the time. Excuse me. Thought I was going to sneeze. What you'll want to do is not be rigid about it's phase 1 where there's no races. It's phase 2 where there's races, but none of them are super important. And then in the track training system, that's where we would run some indoor races. And then phase 3, those are our important meets, right? I think what we say, Jody, is, hey, let's get kids. And this is interesting. If there's an important qualifying meet the second weekend of January, not only do we run the meet, we do a race pace workout on Tuesday. Because Jody, your kids are serious. Yes, all outdoors on the track. That's awesome. I mean, take advantage of everybody's envious of you. You're in California. Your kids can run fast. I was literally thinking today about how like 209 in California is awesome. But I do wonder some of these kids in the Midwest and whatnot, if they got more racing opportunities, could a 211 girl from Illinois run 209 if she had more opportunities? When I was coaching at the collegiate level, and when I was the recruiting coordinator at the University of Colorado, we didn't not recruit California kids. We just said that they needed to run fast for us to recruit them. And if we, were recruiting, let's say, an 800 runner from Wisconsin or Minnesota, we were fired up if they had run a national level time in that bad climate, right? And then this goes back to why I want people to run some races earlier in the year too. Weather is just weird now. So there'll be a break in the weather, even in Iowa, where for 4 or 5 days it's sunny and whatnot. The updates I'm doing by the end of December in the track training system say, when you have a window where the weather's good, do a time trial. Have those 800 kids do a 600 meter time trial. You have your 1600 meter runners do 1,000 meter time and just go hurt. Just go hurt for 1,000 meters. It's a great thing for them to do mentally in the month of late January, early February. If you have beautiful weather and it's just kind of random and you do that. The other thing you need to do is you might have small meets on a Tuesday or a Wednesday that you typically wouldn't have taken seriously, but the weather's going to be awesome. You need to do 2 things. You need to train the kid, and everybody has a 5-day weather forecast that's accurate. On that 5th day, you say, we're maybe doing race pace work. So you might meet them on a Saturday, and instead of doing a long run, you might do a race pace workout so that on Tuesday or Wednesday, you're ready to run fast. And you also reach out to the teams that you think will be there and say, let's load it up. Let's put all of our studs in the 1600. Let's get after it. I'm in a state where you can only qualify for state based on time. And I think what coaches need to be open-minded to is let's get that qualifying time sometimes on a Wednesday, right? It doesn't always have to be a Saturday meet. So anyway, Jody, you're going to go, might get some wind and rain. you're going to go back and forth between kind of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And I just think when you and I talk in the track training system, you just got to be cognizant of how many times, this is an old school term, but I love it. How many times can they go to the well, right? Going to the well is just going as hard as they can. They can't do it 20 times. But can a high school girl do it 10 times? Absolutely. Can a high school boy do it 10 times? Absolutely. And the I would say the right number is in between 10 and 20. I actually don't know exactly what it is. So, Aubrey, we're going to the Boulder Running Clinic and already signed up. Do we have access to those videos already or just this year's videos? Great question, Aubrey. So you'll just get access to the 2025 videos. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, that's just how that works. So I guess tonight is the night. I mean, if I was a better salesperson, I'd probably like tell you, you're crazy not to sign up tonight because the Boulder Running Clinic's videos each year was $95. So it looks like 7 years. And so technically that would have been about $700. Man, I am really proud of this book. In life, I'm hard on myself a lot, but the 3 new chapters, mental skills, health science, recruiting, sorry, I'm tripping over that word, are all good. And then it's really cool that we're featuring Niwot, Mountain Vista, who won the girls race yesterday. They've already been featured in here. And we added Juris Green's team, the Woodlands High School in Texas, an amazing program for decades down there. So, all right, folks, this has been a long one, hour and 45 minutes. Let me know if you have any questions. And thanks, Jen. The book is great. Can't wait to read the new chapters. Awesome. Aubrey, I'm glad this has been helpful. It was a lot of fun. This has been great. It'll be fun for me to see who tuned in. I'm going to check it really quick on Facebook, see if there's some people. Yeah, there's still 26 people on Facebook. Awesome. This is great. So, all right. Any other questions? I guess I'll put the link in here one more time. I'm going to put the track training system and then the track training essentials, and that URL will end with opt-in. So, but you go to that page to get the free 40-page PDF. And yeah, you are absolutely welcome. This was a lot of fun. So, oh, and if you know anybody who would want to watch this, you can tell them both on Facebook and YouTube. They just click on this link and they'll be able to watch the replay tomorrow. Let's see what this is. Andrew, just recently moved and I'll be assisting our school's track team this year, but taking the head coaching position next year. Will these bonuses be available if I get the XC training system? I thought about that. It's funny. I thought about that my mind is going like 1,000,000 miles an hour because I'm trying to think about things and talk at the same time. Yeah, we're going to extend that tonight. We're going to extend these bonuses to anybody who purchases the cross-country training system. Now, to be clear, they're each $495. Oh, I missed one of my slides. Yeah, well, I guess that slide doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm going to say this. One quick story about online business gurus. I have an amazing coach, right? If I'm coaching coaches, I better have a business coach because I know running, but I don't know business. And one of the things they always say is don't talk about cost and don't talk about price. So I'm going to read you one more thing, and this is from Coach Bell. $495 is a lot of money, especially for high school teachers and coaches. But spending that amount one time for the track training system is the single best investment a coach can make. It is easy to use, and Jay provides clear instructions on how to execute each day. Just as important, he provides just the right amount of explanation that you can give to your runners. TTS also creates a partnership with Jay and a network of other high school coaches who are crazy accomplished and helpful. The best part is you will no longer be alone in coaching. Jay's level of support is off the charts great, and you can see a collaboration around the training that is safe, progressive, and flexible for 6 events. The best part is that such smart, synthesized training allows you to spend even more time on building relationships with your runners. The TTS is worth every cent. Okay, so we will close on that. But I understand $495 is a meaningful amount of money in my family, and I just wanted you to read that one because I've never had anybody ask for a refund on it. And yeah, it's absolutely worth it. So, all right, folks. Hey, and here's one thing. if you want more of these, email me. Ooh, I'll put my email in here. I'm thinking of doing more live classes, not during what we would call a sale of something, not when there's when there's things to basically say, hey, we're offering books this time with track training. Track training is always on sale. You just don't get those bonuses unless it's this week. But let me know if you like these live classes. I can see up here in the corner how many people are on live. It's blowing my mind. I'm so grateful for it. And I think there's reasons to do more of these. So if you liked it, let me know. And then Jimmy, the lifetime access is basically worth the cost. So much noise on social media. Yeah, it's nice to know I'll be updating. And I'll be absolutely honest. Like, I didn't update it a ton last year, but this year there's a lot of updates I'm seeing. And isn't it interesting? A lot of it's based on seeing my own daughter. When we look at how many races she ran last year, there weren't that many. I mean, we have snow. And, and I'm frustrated and she's frustrated and our coaches are frustrated. I'm getting text messages from all the coaches in the area. Everybody's mad. So, all right, folks, have a good night. And, yeah, look forward to seeing you at the next live class.